What is your future vision for disability inclusion? Do you believe that we've done enough?
In my eyes, I don't think we've done enough. So, disability inclusion, being included, feeling included are two separate things.
Well, you have to talk about life insurance as a safety net.
My mom passed away from cancer 2019. She didn't have a life insurance policy. It's very important. It is important. You need to have that safety net. The person that I would go to for advice is not there. I would go to her. It makes me so scared that I would lose my father soon and I'd become an orphan.
So, who's that one dependable person in your life, Virali?
Me.
That's a very positive and strong way to look at things.
For me, it was more about positive representation. जो wheelchair पे होते हैं, don't they wear branded clothes?
What are those instances or incidents that have kind of made you the better version of yourself?
2016 में, when the RPWD bill was tossed, I raised my voice. That's when I wrote an open letter talking about my experience. Thankfully, with the help of the campaign My Train 2, we were able to make 9 stations wheelchair accessible without any reservations.
Welcome to Depend on Insurance, Depend on Us. In this episode, we'll be speaking to Virali Modi, a trailblazing advocate for disability rights who's made history as India's first wheelchair model. Well done. Her multifaceted career spans modeling, motivational speaking, and passionate activism. Great. And accessibility and dignity for people with disabilities, all the more better. Through her personal journey, Virali has challenged societal perceptions, created new pathways for inclusion in India's fashion industry and beyond. Well done. We welcome you and are excited to learn from your experience, your inspiration journey. Looking forward to a great conversation with you, Virali.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm really excited.
Yeah, it's great to be, sitting here next to you, asking you a couple of questions, get some motivational bites out of it. I just wanted to start off, Virali, by checking with you. How's been the journey? What challenges have you seen? What are the things that you've learned amongst all of these challenges? And where does it take you from where you're coming to where you're going?
See, I think I should preface this by saying that I always wasn't a wheelchair user. I became a wheelchair user later on in life. I was 15 years old.
Yeah.
It was just a traumatic illness. So I think navigating life as a disabled woman when I was able-bodied, I think that was the biggest challenge initially because I didn't really have that support system that I deserved. I mean, my mom and dad were there, my family, my friends, my distant relatives. Everyone had kind of shunned me because of my disability, because it was something so abnormal that happened. But I think it was my mom. My mom was the one person who taught me about, tough love, gave me that tough love and taught me about, खुद से प्यार करना, खुद को प्यार करो, खुद को एक्सेप्ट करो, तब जाके फर्क ही नहीं पड़ेगा दुनिया एक्सेप्ट करती है या नहीं करती है. So accept yourself. That has been, I think, my biggest challenge, apart from, inaccessibility in India, living with a disability. But accepting yourself, वही सबसे बड़ी challenge थी मेरे लिए. Because how do you accept such a big change in your life? How do you overcome this? Yeah. So I think that is where the power of manifestation and, attracting what you want in life, that kind of came into play. Yeah. And self-love, loving yourself, reading self-love, self-help books, all of that. So I think acceptance was my biggest challenge in life. And now I'm here accepting and loving myself. So,
I agree. And, I fully agree that parents सबसे बड़ा support system. Parents are the biggest support system that one has. And therefore, what you learn from them and how they inspire you, always stays with you forever. And of course, you improvise over fully, I understand the sentiment. After having lost my mother and my father, at the age that I did, there's a lot to learn from them and take it forward. What are those instances or incidents that have kind of made you the better version of yourself?
Well, I moved to India in 2008, and this was after my disability. Wanted to travel to Delhi via train from Mumbai. रियलाइज़ की एक्सेसिबिलिटी नाम की तो चीज़ नहीं है ये कंट्री में, तब तो थी भी नहीं, अब भी थोड़ा बहुत ठीक है. But I was molested by the porters because inaccessibility. I stayed quiet, honestly, like I didn't say anything. But 2016 mein, when the RPWD bill was passed, I raised my voice because I realized कि you have all of these facilities for people with hearing impairment or visual impairment within the railway, but nothing for locomotor disabilities. तो आप भेदभाव क्यों कर रहे हो when it comes to disability? That's when I wrote an open letter talking about my experience. And that's when I realized कि, oh, a lot of people with disabilities, men, women, children alike, have gone through the same thing. And people have never raised their voice because कोई मानता ही नहीं था उनकी बात. और आवाज़ उठा के भी क्या ही करते. That's when I was like, यार देखो, I am able to raise my voice. I have that voice. I have a social media presence which I can use.
Yeah.
So let's just go all in. मतलब दुनिया को जो सोचना है वो सोचने दो. But this is about dignity. This is about integrity. And this is also about your rights as a human being.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't I talk about this? And that is what made me decide कि नहीं भाई अब तो कुछ करना ही है. अब तो launch your own campaign, do something, just make an impact. And thankfully, with the help of the campaign My Train Too, we were able to make 9 stations wheelchair accessible without any
Wow.
renovations. We sensitized the whole railway staff through local NGOs, and we got the government on board as well. I mean, this wouldn't have been possible without some kind of government support. It happened, and it just goes to show you, कुछ चेंज करना है तो आवाज़ उठानी है, no matter what difficulties, no matter what challenges are there.
Yeah, and I think facing discrimination, if I can say, it's always a tough one. When you know that you want to do something, you want to genuinely believe in something, and that inner energy that comes from within that propels you and tells you and makes you restless every day, tells you that you want to do something better. And that better is for the better of the society, for you to influence the society. Are there any techniques and tools? So I heard about manifestation. Let's just talk about manifestation because that's very close to me also as I try to, learn the art of manifestation and how do you kind of keep yourself in that ever-charged zone. What are those tools and techniques within manifestation that has helped you, to take such a courageous and such a bold step? एक तो आवाज़ उठाना मुश्किल है, ऊपर से लोगों को influencing people is all the more difficult. And how do you sustain that over a period of time is equally more tiring. So what are those techniques and tools that you've kind of learned via manifestation that's helping you?
Intent is the biggest thing. I believe if your intentions are pure, if you have that intent and you actually believe in whatever it is that you want to do, for example, the railways, I believed in myself and I really truly believed that I could make a difference. Whether it be through my open letter or whether it be creating these 9 stations, making them wheelchair accessible.
Yeah.
Honestly, वो मेरे mind में था भी नहीं. मेरे mind में ये था कि I want India to become accessible. और वो मेरा belief है, वो मेरा faith है. Because it is the right thing to do. My intent is pure.
Yeah.
I don't have any malicious thoughts around it. It's just for the sake of everyone. Because I believe that everyone is temporarily abled. किसी ना दिन सबको wheelchair या assisted mobility device लगेगा. And that's why I wanted to raise this voice. आगे जाके किसी और के साथ ये सब नहीं होना चाहिए. So intent is a big part of manifestation.
Yeah.
If you don't believe in it and if your intentions are not pure, आप कितना भी manifest कर लो, आप कितना भी बोलो कि हाँ मैं ये चाहता हूँ और yes this is already mine, you believe that this is already yours, वो नहीं पूरा होता है. So intent matters a lot. Secondly, meditation. Meditating over something, sitting there with yourself, asking yourself these questions of why do I want this? Do I actually believe in this or is this a superficial goal?
Yeah.
That also helps a lot. And visualizing. I'm a visual person. I need to see I need to envision what I want. If I can see that and I can actually see the colors, I can see where I am, what I'm doing in that exact moment, I know that I'll be able to manifest it. If I can't see it, then I know that it's probably not for me, or I just don't believe in it enough.
Yeah, well said. So I think manifestation, meditation, and visualization, these three things eventually lead you to tend to take that courage and take the thing forward. How did you get into the modeling thing? How did you get into the fashion stuff? One state is motivation, happiness, and all. Why the fashion? And how
Well,
the fashion?
okay. So this is a full circle kind of story.
Yeah.
बचपन में I watched कुछ कुछ होता है.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
Yeah, like any young girl, Shah Rukh Khan, that vibe was there कि नहीं मुझे यही करना है life में. I want to be a model. I want to be an actress. The disability happened, and that's where I kind of was like, हाँ अब कैसे होगा ये? अब तो बिल्कुल भी नहीं होगा. But in 2014, I participated in the Miss Wheelchair India pageant, and I won second place in that. So I was like, okay, cool, maybe this is my, my way into Tinseltown, and maybe this is how I get into it. No, I didn't. I went on auditions and everything. People rejected me because of the disability. And that's where it just... So, Sachin, you say no to me, na, I want to do that thing even more. That is who I am. And when they said no, I was like, आपने मना कैसे किया मुझे? नहीं, अब तो मैं करके दिखाऊंगी. कैसे ना कैसे मैं तो करके दिखाऊंगी. And that's when in 2018, I actually auditioned for an ad. I had no idea what this ad was. It was just an audition. I auditioned and I realized that it was an ad with Salman Khan. And it was for Being Human.
Yeah.
And that was my first ever ad that I did. And I saw my face up on a hoarding in Bandra.
Yeah.
So that was so cool. That was so cool. And from that point on, I kind of seamlessly navigated my way through the modeling world. And now I've done like TVCs, I've done ads. And my last project was with Shah Rukh Khan.
Wow.
So I worked with him for a Hyundai ad. So that's why I said it's a full circle moment for me.
Yeah, that's like dream coming true, isn't it?
It's manifestation.
It is, yeah, it is manifestation, it is visualization, it is pushing yourself and making yourself achieve what you want to kind of achieve. What is your future vision for, let's say, disability inclusion? Do you believe that we've done enough? Do you think that there's scope? Of course, there's always a scope to do more. Do you think things have changed and changed for good? And where do you think, in the next 5 to 10 years, disability inclusion would be?
That's a very difficult question to answer because in my eyes, I don't think we've done enough. I mean, I'm going to ask you this question.
Yeah.
How many people with a disability have you seen out and about in your day-to-day life, in your normal life? If you're going to the mall or if you're going somewhere, how many people with disabilities have you seen? I'm asking you this.
Not many. Not
many. So disability inclusion, being included, feeling included are two separate things. Being included is kind of like, okay, ramp bana diya hai, you can come here, you can enjoy. But feeling included is a different scenario altogether. And that means active support from your friends, your family, your peers. और वो तब ही होगा जब अवेयरनेस बढ़ेगी. और अवेयरनेस कब बढ़ेगी? जब विजिबिलिटी होगी. विजिबिलिटी कैसे होगी? जब एक्सेसिबिलिटी होगी. This is a paradox.
Yeah.
It's kind of like Pandora's box, to be very honest. So no, we have not done enough. And that's where I believe every single person needs to also come out and advocate for this.
Yeah.
Like it isn't just my responsibility or someone else's responsibility who has a disability. We all collectively need to come together and talk about disability inclusion, talk about accessibility. क्योंकि जब पब्लिक बाहर आएगी,
right,
तब एक नॉर्मल सी बिल्ड होगी. अभी लोगों के दिमाग में क्या है? If something isn't normal according to them, उनको abnormal लगती है या फिर अजीब लगती है.
Right.
But when you collectively, एक टाइम पे ये था, whenever people would wear specs, वो भी abnormal था.
Right.
अब इतने सारे लोग specs पहनते हैं, चश्मे पहनते हैं, normalize हो गया ना.
Yeah.
So let's get people out and about with disabilities. उनको बाहर निकालो घर से.
Yeah.
But first we need that accessibility.
Right.
तब जाके visibility बढ़ेगी. When that happens, disability will be the most normal thing ever.
Yeah, and you spoke about specs. I can tell you one thing, that specs is now a fashion statement also. People do wear, specs. You get different kind of specs and all. So that brings me to the same point again, that where do you see the future of, fashion and disability inclusion together? Do you think fashion is a strong way and one of the strong modes and mechanisms to tell the world about disability inclusion?
Mainstream media, definitely. Whether it be fashion, movies, anything. But mainstream media, yes.
Yeah.
We idolize people on screen. We idolize these people who are walking the ramps and all.
Yeah.
Right? Imagine having someone with a disability on screen, not as a side role, but as the main character. Isn't that inspiring in itself? Or rather, it's not even inspiring, but isn't that normal in itself? And that will raise awareness. And when you're asking 5 years down the line, still think we have a long way to go. I can't, 5 years is too less of time.
Yeah.
I feel maybe 10, 15 years, yeah, these things will change. And now, thankfully, because of OTT, things are changing.
Yeah.
But big screen pe kahan?
Right.
वहाँ पे तो कुछ नहीं दिख रहा है. So we need this narrative to change. ये बेचारा बेचारी वाला जो narrative है,
Yes.
वो तो change करना ही है. But we need to start showcasing disability as being normal, because it is the most normal thing ever.
Yes.
Having a disability is very normal.
Yes, I fully agree with you. Just wanted to also check, when you have so much of energy in you, when you have got so much of passion in you, and you tend to think a lot, do a lot, influence a lot, who's that one dependable person you have in your life? Who's your go-to person? Who's that one person to whom Virali goes every day and says, I need my motivation tonic. I need my motivation, somebody to, really do a pep talk to me so that I'm inspired, So who's that one dependable person in your life, Virali?
Me.
Oh, you are? Oh, wow.
It's
yeah,
me.
that's a very positive and strong way to look at things. Yeah.
It's me, yeah, because I am a content creator. I go back to my own content.
Yeah.
I look at myself and I'm like, अगर ये विराली कर सकती है तो तू क्यों नहीं?
Yeah.
तू कर ही सकती है, of course. And if that still doesn't motivate me, then it's my husband. And he has a very funny way of motivating me, because he'll just make me laugh.
Yeah.
All he'll do is just make me laugh. He'll do the silliest of things, stupidest thing, and he'll make me laugh. And then he'll be like, this is what I want.
Yeah.
I want you always laughing and smiling. ये stress वैस लेना, ये तेरे बस की बात नहीं है.
Yeah.
If you have done so much in your life, you think ये छोटी सी बात है, तू इस पे grip कर रही है, तू इस पे रो रही है, तुझे इस पे stress हो रहा है. You have crossed mountains of challenges, और तू ये इतनी छोटी बात को लेके you are crying. And I'm like, मतलब मैं भी थोड़ी बेचारी हो जाती हूँ, लगता है ऐसा कुछ नहीं है. He's like, come on, get a grip on yourself. Get a grip on yourself. You know who you are. You are Virali Modi. You have got this.
Yes.
So you can do this.
Yes.
And if you need that support, if you need that help, then I am here for you. You just tell me what you need. I'm here.
Yeah. No, I think you're right that, as a couple, the partner plays a very, very important role. And as you said, the parents play a big role in influencing. In fact, being in the insurance and life insurance space, we are also calling ourselves as a proud promises ka partner. Whenever there's some challenge or some issue or some event that has occurred in somebody's life, we're always there, as a life insurance company. I just wanted to check, some of your thoughts of, life insurance space. How do you see life insurance? Do you see insurance as an important safety net that one should always have for some of the events that may or may not occur, throughout the life? Is it worth the spend? What do you have to talk about life insurance as a safety net? The way you deal with things in your daily life.
Honestly, I want to talk about my mother here, because my mom passed away from cancer 2019. She didn't have a life insurance policy because हमें ये लगा था कि हाँ बहुत time है. There's a lot of time. We can get life insurance at a later space, whenever it's feasible for us. And then life happened. हमें समझा ही नहीं.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's very important. It is important. You need to have that safety net, because I know for a fact when my mom passed away, then COVID happened.
Yeah.
And then I was jobless. I was not working. I was a freelancer. If that was there, it would have supported me a lot. If it would have helped me a lot. Would have helped my father out a lot,
Yeah.
covering all the costs of a funeral and everything. So yeah, life insurance is really, really important. I never thought so until it happened in my own home.
Yeah. But just wanted to check with you, how some of these stories have transpired, and in case you can share some of your life-changing moments and experiences with which you've impacted the lives of the people around you. It'll be interesting to hear that.
Uh, well, I mentioned to you that my mom passed away from cancer. Well, honestly, I remember during the funeral, like right after I did her last rites and everything, after her funeral, I sat down with my father and I had a very difficult conversation with him. It was very hard for me to have this conversation with him. But because मैं एक ही हूँ, मेरे कोई भाई बहन नहीं है. Father lives in the US. He didn't want to come back to India. And I had already started my career, made a name for myself, and I wanted to continue that legacy. But I had this conversation with my dad, and I sat him down and I said, देखो, मैं अपने दिल पे पत्थर रख रही हूँ, बट आपको एक चीज़ मैं बोल रही हूँ. कभी भी आपको फ्यूचर में शादी करना हो वापस, तो मेरा फुल सपोर्ट है. और मैं चाहती हूँ कि आप कर लो. मेरे लिए नहीं, बट खुद के लिए. Because you need someone to be there for you. It's about love, it's about compassion, it's about companionship. It's about having someone there supporting you. And I believe that you need that. अगर आप मना कर रहे हो, तो मैं कभी ये टॉपिक को नहीं छेड़ूंगी. I will not bring it up. It is your decision and only your decision. मेरे तरफ से कोई force नहीं है. So I think about a year or so later, my dad called me and he's like, मुझे लगता है कि मुझे शादी कर लेनी चाहिए. I should get remarried. I was the happiest that day. Like the most happiest that I'd ever been after my mom passed. And I was like, चलो, सही है. मैंने उनकी matrimonial profile बनाई है.
Wow.
And I was the one kind of, looking at prospective stepmothers. Yeah. And just going through these profiles and everything. मैं shortlist करती थी, and then I would send these profiles to my dad, and he would pick out and he would speak to them, and if it worked out, it worked out. Finally, we hit the jackpot, and that's how I met my stepmother. And I think within 7 months after them meeting each other and getting to know each other, they got married in the US. और अभी मेरी family उधर ही है. And I feel very blessed, and yeah, I feel blessed.
So what are the moments, to be honest, where you get emotional? I mean, I've seen the real motivated side of you. What are those vulnerable spots, if I can be very open and honest about it, where you feel, oh my God, where you kind of open up and say, this is something that's new to me. You've seen a lot. See, when you have a long journey like you have, full of experiences, full of events, events happening every day almost that I can visualize. What makes you more emotional? What kind of drives your emotions?
Whenever there's something wrong that's going on in my life, or some kind of problem is there, and I have exhausted all of my options, I have thought of every solution, कुछ नहीं हो रहा है, कुछ समझ नहीं आ रहा है, तब I get very emotional at that point of time, because the person that I would go to for advice is not there.
Yeah.
I would go to her. I would talk to her. Be like, Mummy, ये सब problem है. मैं क्या करूँ अभी? What do I do about this? That person isn't there anymore. And that's when I get emotional, because it makes me so scared that I would lose my father soon and I'd become an orphan. Like, that fear is there. But it's okay.
Yeah.
these experiences, they change you, they shape you.
Yeah.
And these teachings, the learnings that I have from my parents, they will always stay.
Yeah.
इंसान चला जाएगा, लेकिन जो विजडम दी है, जो बातें करी है, जो सिखाया है, वो कभी नहीं जाता. So I can always look back or look out into nature
Yeah.
and just talk to them.
Yeah.
Talk to the wind, talk to the mountains, talk to the leaves, talk to the trees. जवाब नहीं देते, but signs देते.
Yeah.
They give you signs
Yeah.
that that person or that vibration is still there.
Yeah.
And honestly, that like all of these tattoos that I have,
Yeah.
there's some kind of significance, whether it be with my mother, whether it be with my father, or whether it be just some kind of signs
Yes.
that I see and that are significant to me. So yeah, this scares me, and this is my biggest vulnerability. ये सबसे बड़ा डर है. I'll become an orphan.
Yeah.
And that's scary, so scary to even think about. And I honestly just don't know how you dealt with that feeling, because
Yeah.
it frightens me like anything.
Yeah. No, it is a tough one. You don't realize, you're right. You don't realize till the time it happens, and all of a sudden, once that moment is gone, then it takes some time for you to absorb, and then you tell yourself that, you're orphan now. You don't have your mom, you don't have your dad. But then when I look at my family, my wife, my son, for them, I'm the family. I'm the head of the family. And all of a sudden, when your parents are gone, you become the head of the family, right? Therefore, some of the things that I told myself when, my father passed away was reflecting back to when my mother passed away. What I didn't do to what I should be now doing is, very frankly, more about being happy, giving the values that I would want to give, and allow them to have the values that they would want and genuinely believe in, rather than enforcing certain set of values, upon my son. But also, very frankly, one thing that I've learned over a period of time is financial planning is extremely important. Financial freedom, financial independence, understanding of your finances and your needs is extremely important to give you that financial security. So when we have a discussion as a family today, I can tell you there are a range of topics that we discuss. Motivation, manifestation, positivity stays to the core, because I believe that that's where everything emerges from. But having a financial security and a financial need, and life insurance has the space and the products that we have, I believe that they play an extremely, extremely important role, especially on life insurance. However, just a trick question: when you go through some of the things, and of course, picking up fashion, I still can't really get this out of my head that you're trying to kind of create your own space, and you're trying to influence and motivate a lot of these folks. Why do you think the fashion was something that you wanted to always do? Was it because that you wanted to challenge yourself, or is it something that you really wanted to genuinely do when you're growing up? You're you're always in awe with Bollywood, the actors and all. What is it that you wanted to become as a child?
I had a lot of professions that I wanted to be.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a surgeon. I love medicine, and I love doing research on medicine. I love reading about it, even from a young age. I loved watching medical shows and everything. I still watch them. And so, yeah, I wanted to be a surgeon. My father's dream was, I want you to be a cardiothoracic surgeon.
Wow.
Is what I want. My mom was like, I want you to be a scientist.
Yeah.
I'm like, cool. I want to be a model. That's what I want to do. And I think after, becoming disabled and all, for me, it was more about representation.
Yeah.
Having positive representation.
Yes.
तब जाके दुनिया बदलेगी यार, वरना नहीं बदलेगी.
Correct.
And I always thought कि जो wheelchair पे होते हैं, don't they wear branded clothes? वो भी तो पहनते हैं. Clothes look so different on me than it does on a standing model, because of the way our bodies are and the way that clothes kind of flow.
Yeah.
They look weird on me, and I have to kind of always change things around or adapt on the spot and stuff. And then I was like, why aren't people with disabilities on ad campaigns and on the runway? And why aren't we modeling? Just so if I went to a store, if I saw a model there, on a billboard, on a hoarding, wearing something that's a wheelchair user, I could get a better idea of how it would look on my body.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, यहाँ पे जितने भी fitting rooms होते हैं, wheelchair accessible तो होते नहीं है.
Yeah.
You can't get the wheelchair inside. How am I supposed to try clothes on? That's why it's so important that we have that visual representation.
I'm glad that we spoke about some of the goals and some of the stages that you've seen. And I can assure you, and I can share with you also, that at Canara HSBC Life, what we have is a plan for every event. We are also planning along with our customers. Being in the life insurance space, it's extremely important that we just do not come up with a particular product, but to look at all the life stage goals and help our customers go through the financial planning that the customers need to do to be able to sail through when such events were to occur. I mean, that's what life insurance is all about. It's a very noble profession. I thought that I must relate to some of your life stage stories to how some of these life insurance products really help customers plan their journeys. I'm also wanting to ask you a question on health and fitness. What does health and fitness mean for a person with disability?
Obviously, I can only talk about myself.
Yeah.
Everyone's definition is different. But for me, it's being healthy and fit enough in order to carry out my day-to-day activities with ease. It's not difficult. I am heavily reliant on my shoulders and my arms for strength and for mobility as well. I have to make sure that I am strong enough to push my wheelchair or to cook or to clean or, whatever it is, to transfer to different surfaces. I have to make sure. If I'm not strong, I can't be independent. I will have to heavily rely on other people. And that is something that I don't ever want to do.
Yeah.
I decline to do that. I do not want to rely on people. I want to rely on myself. And being healthy, that means losing a significant amount of weight. So my shoulders don't have that burden of extra weight. Yeah. I'll get arthritis very soon if that weight is there. Yeah. And if I'm constantly using my shoulders without, losing it and without getting stronger. So that's where resistance training and all also comes into play for me. I don't go to the gym, but I work out every day at home. Yeah. And I'm very strong. My husband says so.
So I'm going to take some fitness tips from you, I can tell you. At the end of this podcast, I would be looking forward to some advice how to stay more fitter and healthier. But here's what I'm also going to ask you now is some of the rapid fire questions.
Oh, lovely.
Yeah, those are my favorite. That's my favorite round as well. But just wanted to start off on a very quick note. What's one thing on your bucket list that you haven't done yet?
Skydiving.
Wow, take me along.
Yes.
If you could have a superpower, what would it be and why?
I think my superpower would be to be invisible.
Wow, that's a great power to have.
Invisible. Yeah, I want to listen on people's conversations. Why not?
Well, yes, I agree with you. I wish you could also hear what people are thinking in their heads, not speaking also. That would be
true.
A little bit more superpower, but that's your rapid fire, not mine. So
Can I change my answer?
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, I wish you were going to say no.
Oh.
I thought you were going to say no.
Okay. No, then.
No, I don't get. I'm still going
I know, yeah.
Yeah, I think I would want to read people's minds.
Oh, lovely. Yeah. What's your favorite inspirational quote?
Be the change that you want to see.
That's very powerful. That's very impactful, very powerful. If you could swap lives with anyone for a day, who would it be?
No one.
Huh?
No one. I love my life. No one.
Great. If you could instantly learn any language, which one would it be?
I think it'd be Arabic.
Arabic?
Arabic. Yeah. It's a very confusing language to me. It sounds very aggressive most of the time.
Yeah.
To me especially. But I also find this beauty in it, and I wish I could learn it. Like, I wish I could learn it.
It is a beautiful language. You know, to what I've heard, I don't understand, but you're right that it kind of, creates a magical spell when few things are said in the right way. What's the best compliment you've ever received?
Wow, that's, I can't even think of one right now. Wait, the best compliment that I've ever received, no?
Yeah.
I think it would be probably about my intelligence. Probably about my intelligence. I've heard you're very pretty and all of that. I've heard that a lot. But somebody complimenting you on your intelligence, that is top notch. So I've had compliments about my intelligence before and how I'm able to carry a conversation and talk about anything. I think that's a really good compliment to have.
Yeah, you're a very happy person is a compliment that I will give you.
Thank you.
And I hope that stays with you. What's your go-to comfort food? What is it that you just love?
Mexican food.
You
Mexican
like
food.
the Mexican,
Cuisine.
yeah?
Yeah, I make it at home because you don't really get authentic Mexican in India.
Yeah?
But growing up in the States, we would go to Mexican restaurants a lot. And so Mexican and Italian food are my comfort foods.
So Virali, thank you very much. It's been a wonderful podcast, learning from your experiences, some of the motivation, and I'm going to carry a lot of what you just said in my thoughts, and I'm going to put those thoughts to actions as well. And hoping to be in touch with you even after the podcast. We have a very small gift for you. So I thought I must give you that gift, and let's kind of get some reactions in terms of what you think about the gift. This is a small picture. I would request you to kindly please unveil it and give me your thoughts of what you think about it.
Thank you so much. This is lovely. I like the leaf.
Yeah.
So cute.
Okay.
1, 2,
3.
3. Oh my God. What?
Yeah. I hope you
my
like it. This
God.
captures, the fashion and the positive,
Yeah.
positivity that you reflect in all of your discussions, and of course, how you kind of look at things. Yeah, this is a beautiful lady.
So this is from Canara HSBC Life Insurance. Celebrates Virali Modi for being a dependable promise ka partner.
Yeah.
This is so lovely. So this photo is actually from Bombay Times Fashion Week. I was the showstopper.
Well, you are a head turner. You are a definite showstopper. The picture is trying to capture the real beauty that you carry, and to all the discussions that we've had, I can tell you that the picture and you look, resembling each other pretty much. So,
No, thank you so much.
And
this
many
is
thanks.
Such a lovely surprise. Thank you.
Yeah, I hope it kind of just goes to on the table where you can look at it and probably remember the talk that we had.
Of course, definitely. Thank you
Great.
so much.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Yeah, great. So with this, we've come to an end of this episode. Virali's powerful story of transformation, advocacy, and artistic expressions offers insights into breaking barriers and creating change through determination and strong grit. Now I would request Virali to sign a planter for a wall of dependability. Let's go, Virali.
Let's do it.
Canara HSBC Life Insurance. Promises का partner.